Renowned Thai horror director Sopon Jim is back with another big-budget horror movie, titled Home for Rent, and it stars some big names in Thai cinema. A young woman named Ning walks into her house to find it trashed and vandalized. She's been advised by her real estate agent, Tom, to rent out the home, and that way, vandals can be kept away from the property. Ning convinces her husband Quinn to take themselves and their 7-year-old daughter Inc. to a smaller condo, and the new tenants, Ratri and her daughter Nutch, start living in their old house. Ning often walks by her old house to meet with her genial neighbor, Mrs. Forn, who goes out on a stroll with her dog. Things go smoothly for a while until certain weird events start. Forn calls Ning one day to inform her of crow's feathers being hung outside the house Ning had led to the two women, and the elderly woman suspects that there's some black magic involved. Also, someone has murdered Forn's pet dog. Moreover, Ning's husband, Quinn, starts acting strangely, refusing to sleep on the bed with her and Inc. and keeping a lock on his rucksack. What's more, he acts rather secretive about a weird tattoo on his chest. When Ning drops by her old house to gather some stuff from the storage, she catches a glimpse of someone looking at her from behind the curtains. However, Ning is the most shocked to find the same tattoo on Ratri's neck that she'd seen on her husband. At night, Forn sends Ning a video of a murder of crows circling around Ning's old house, and only one room is lit with a haunting red light. The video is cut short when Ratri stares directly at Forn shooting the video, and soon, the message is unsent, and there's no response from Ning's neighbor. She is scared of her wits when she spots a ghoulish entity attempting to lay its rotting fingers on the sleeping Inc. Ning freaks out and tries calling her husband, but Quinn can't be found, and there's someone in the bathroom. Moments later, Quinn steps out with a red book in hand. And Ning spies on him to find her husband putting that book inside his locked backpack. Ning goes to look into what happened to Mrs. Forn, only to be told by Ratri that the elderly woman has left town. Meanwhile, Quinn's behavior grows increasingly erratic. And when his wife follows him up to the roof, she's terrified to find him sitting in the corner, chanting something freaky, as hundreds of crows swarm over the apartment. Ning spots something in front of her, only to realize moments later that it's the rotting corpse of a young girl. She scampers downstairs and lies down on her bed, and soon afterwards, Quinn walks in and calls her, but Ning doesn't respond. The next day, Ning sneaks Quinn's red book out of his backpack and goes into the washroom to look at it, but is surprised to find its pages to be blank. However, opening the wash cabinet terrifies Ning because inside she finds totems, drawings, and amulets, all heavily linked to black magic. She also finds a doll that Inc. is very attached to, and she says her father got her the doll. At Inc.'s school, her mother watches in horror as Ratri whispers something in Ink's ear. Determined to keep her daughter safe from these freaky tenants, Ning tries taking her daughter away, only for Quinn to stop his wife, and he ends up saying mother or Ratri won't harm Inc. Despite being slapped by her husband, Ning takes her daughter away, keeps her in a hotel, and contacts her old friend, who's a cop. He informs her that the tenants have faked both their names and contact numbers. But the cop's girlfriend barges in and demands that Ning stay away from her fiancé because he still likes her. Denied help at every corner, Ning comes back to the hotel room, only to find Inc. missing. She's told by the maid that the girl's father has just taken her away. Ning asks Tom for help, and he promises to help her while driving her, but as it turns out, even he's a part of that cult. Tom knocks Ning out, puts her inside a suitcase, and takes her body to be dumped, only to be stopped by an alarm on his phone. It's time to offer prayer to the cursed lord their cult worships. This takes us to a flashback of 11 years in the past, and Quinn is the happiest with his daughter Ja. It was just the two of them, but they were happy until a short circuit electrocuted the little girl. Quinn had crawled inside a shell, looking at videos of himself and his daughter all day, until Ning came by his house to sell insurance. 11 years later, they were married and had a daughter together, but in his heart, he still missed his first daughter. When Ratri came by to look at the house, She told Quinn that she could sense his daughter's spirit in the house and that she could help him reunite with Ja. This explains why Quinn readily rented the house out to the tenants, and soon the preparations began. Ratri told Quinn that Ja could only inhabit the body of a living girl of her age to visit her father, and Ink was the first choice. Ratri assured Quinn that Ja would just come to say goodbye and no harm would come to Ink, so he requested his daughter's help. And she readily agreed to help her father. Ratri met Ink in her school, marked her for the ritual, and also showed her the other woman who lives inside Ratri's body. Apparently, the old woman was Mrs. Napaporn, and she offered her body for Ratri to live inside. This is why Quinn was praying, chanting, and getting that strange tattoo, but what he didn't know was that he had been duped. At the ritual, Quinn spotted a silhouette approaching him and was relieved to realize it was Mrs. Forn, but it wasn't her after all. Forn had been possessed by some unholy spirit, and it stabbed Quinn in the stomach and held him down as Ratri's real plan began. She'd never wanted to help Quinn but saw Ink's body as a vessel to bring back the cursed spirit of her own daughter, who'd drowned to death. Everything that Quinn did unknowingly only helped that evil spirit get stronger, and now it had come to possess Ink's body. While Ja's spirit stayed inside the beautiful doll, Ratri's daughter lived inside a sinister-looking doll, and now Ratri would do the final ritual to make the transfer. Ratri told Ink that the old woman's body she was inhabiting had been murdered so that Ratri could live there. Realizing this stank to high heavens, Ink tried fleeing, but Nutch captured her. Quinn tried to protect his daughter, but Nutch pressed on his wound until he bled to death. The ritual was nearing completion when Ning rushed to Ink's rescue. She'd stabbed Tom in the chest with a pair of garden shears and took his car to drive to the location, asking Nutch for the location from Tom's phone. By the time Ning arrived, the evil spirit was slowly taking over Ning's body. She tried smashing the doll, but the rotting ghoul she'd seen on the roof grabbed her throat from inside the sinister doll and began strangling her until she used the hammer to smash the main symbol made on its forehead. The doll vanished, and Ning tried fleeing with her daughter, only to be stopped by Ratri and Nutch. Ratri said that the girl in Ning's arms wasn't Ink anymore and chased after Ning as the entire roof collapsed on them. Ink was the first to wake, but there was something different about her. She fished out a pointed rod and punctured Nutch's skull with it, and she proceeded to do the same to Ratri as the police arrived downstairs. When the cops came, they found Ink hugging her deceased father and sobbing uncontrollably. As it turns out, before dying, Quinn marked the doll he'd gifted Ink because that's where Ja's spirit resided. He marked it with his blood and had completed the ritual, asking her to protect her sister. The girl who stabbed the two cultists was Ja, after all. When Ning came to visit her daughter in the hospital after learning about Quinn's first daughter, she was shocked to hear Ink call her auntie. The girl who used to be Ink said she woke up to find herself in Ink's body and apologized for replacing Ning's daughter, but the mother hugged her. Sometime later, Ink hopped onto her mother's cycle, but didn't hold on to her waist for support until Ning herself took those little hands and put them around her waist. She also offered to take her daughter to the beach later. Ink was gone, only for Ja to reside in her body. But she was accepted by a woman she never knew. Ja had lost her father, but she'd gained a mother who'd love her as her own daughter, even if she wasn't her Ink. Such is the power of a mother's love. So that's Home for Rent ending explained. I hope you like this video, and please subscribe this channel. See you in another video. Bye.